Who were you before you made all these changes?
Oh my God, I was a crazy guy. Oh shit, I came from that. In a place where we were raised, you cannot afford to be kind. Being kind means it's a weakness. You have to, even if you're not tough, you have to act tough and stuff like that. And so that's how I was, this neighborhood, that's how I was raised. Brought it all the way to America, and it was like that. In and out of jail, I think I lost track 8 or 9 times that I went to jail. Nothing major, just, bar fights and stuff like that. I had a couple of felonies that was expunged. I got sick and tired of being sick and tired. I got sick and tired of being sick and tired. I mean, like, it didn't make sense anymore. I got to do something different, Mom and I always arguing and this, that, and I was always irritable, and I didn't know how to stop. I didn't know how to stop, and so something happened one time, and Mom and I are arguing, and she had a desk in the bedroom, right? And she was doing some work, and I'm in the back, then we were arguing. And then I hated the word sick, and she goes, "You're sick." And when she said, "You're sick," I went, "Okay, so I'm sick. Take me to the doctor then." And she goes like this, "Really?" Really? She was shocked. "Yeah, take me to the doctor." I was like, I'm ready to do some changes. I just didn't know what. I didn't know what to do. I had no idea what to do.
You're just helpless. The name's JonMac, pro fighter, published author, public speaker. And for the last few years, I've been living life in a van. Meet Appa, my Japanese-inspired tea house on wheels. Welcome in. Coffee, tea, whiskey. That's how it begins. My podcast. The one where we sit and talk about life. Thoughts, stories, human things. You know human things. The things that make us human. If that's your cup of tea, then welcome in. Drinks on me. Welcome in.
Thank you.
Have a seat. All right. Welcome into Appa Dad. I'm gonna fix these pillows real quick. I was gonna wait until we sat at the table to introduce you, but I feel like we should introduce you now. This is my dad, Jess Mac. Happy birthday, Dad.
Thank you.
Today is his 80th birthday. If you ever want to talk to the audience, by the way, you can look at that camera. I forgot to tell you.
I don't want to talk to the audience. I'm kidding.
I haven't podcasted all year because I was recovering from surgery. I wasn't even actually ready to podcast with my dad. I wasn't gonna basically start podcasting until I finished editing the first season. But I didn't want to miss this opportunity to podcast with you on your 80th birthday. So yeah, something to drink?
Coffee.
Coffee?
Some coffee, please.
All right. Some new swag that I got this season. I got a new electric kettle because the kettle I was using last season was just taking way too long. I'm gonna move this camera real quick. All right, how's that look? Are we still on shot? That looks good. Okay, coffee. How you feeling today, Dad?
I'm just watching.
You're just watching?
I'm feeling good, yeah.
You're feeling good?
Yeah, I just wanted to pay attention to how an 80-year-old man feels.
And how does an 80-year-old man feel?
I feel like 79.
You feel? Wow.
Last night.
No, but really, how do you?
I feel good this morning. How does an 80-year-old man feel? I don't know. I'll know with the day as the day progress.
All right, we're gonna figure this out over here. That looks good. Also, more new swag. I got a bar mat this season. I didn't have a bar mat last season. Got some new teacups too. Oh, that sound is the inverter running because I'm basically not running this. So I got some new teacups, like I said. New process. Oh, remembering all the things. I'm out of practice, as my dad would say. Right, Dad?
Right.
Are you just watching all my stuff?
I'm just watching what you're doing there. I'm just.
I'm just playing. I have all these little gadgets like you, right? You have all these like new little toys in the kitchen. Like, oh, look what I got. So yeah, it just gives me an opportunity to practice different things. Looks pretty cool, right? All the stuff.
Yeah, if I had something set up like this when I was young, I'd probably have I don't know how many girlfriends.
Oh, here we go. Here we
I
go.
don't know. I mean,
Here we go.
During my prime, I don't know. But it's just pretty good setup right here. You grinding his beans?
I am gonna grind the beans. Wait, what does it say? Add? I don't know why it's stopping. I don't know. This is what happens. You just figure it out as you go, right, Dad?
Yeah, figure it out as you go. There you go. It's working out. Hear it. I hear something boiling. A little bit more.
More? You want more?
Yeah, a little bit. That's good right there. Well, you won't be talking, right? So
Yeah.
that's what I do when I go to those meetings. I drink a cup of coffee. They want me to talk. Give me 2 cups of coffee. Then they can't stop me. Well, this is rituals.
Yeah, this is new. This is also new. I get the food scale thing. I figured like,
Oh, scale. That's what it is.
yeah, so I was weighing the grams of the coffee
yeah,
beans.
yeah,
I didn't do that in any of the other episodes. But I just felt like it was a cool little thing to add. You know, like I get to make this up. You know what I mean? Like this is my tea house, my restaurant. Like you experiment, right?
Yeah.
Which is what I got from you. And you were earlier, you were asking me. I'm gonna pause real quick. Earlier, you were asking me if this was the setup for all the other podcasts. And it wasn't. After the 4th episode, it was like I was having a camera set up here, and there was like a camera facing you, there was a camera facing me, and there was all this stuff, but then I had to basically, in the middle of our conversation, have to go change and do it somewhere else. So every time is an experiment, as you would say, right? Trying new things, like, okay, what if I do this? And maybe it's right, maybe it's wrong, but like, you don't know unless you try, right?
Yeah.
Where did you pick that up? It's an experiment, or you're always experimenting?
I don't know where I picked it up, but I always try something different. Even when I'm in the kitchen, I'm going to try something different. What if I did it this way? What if I did it that way? And of course, your mom will say, no, just do it this way. It worked. There's other ways of doing things.
Actually, I'm gonna ground this more.
Yeah. I shake the whole thing when I grind it. I shake it.
You shake it? You want to shake it? Here. You can be the shaker.
You grind it when you...
Is that all the way? All the slack? Boom.
Let's see.
Let's see your 80-year-old shake, sir.
I don't even know how to turn it on.
The red button.
You can go by the stand, right?
There you go.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
All right.
So you got cream, right?
I got cream. Cream special just for you.
No sugar.
But it is something like, you know, I said, like adjusting, figuring it out as you go, kind of like experimenting. I didn't have cream before. You know, like I was telling you.
Did people ask for it?
Ashley did. Ashley asked for, you remember Ashley from Bellator? Ashley asked for cream, but I was like, I don't have cream. So we went to the gas station.
And stole a whole bunch.
Yeah, she was like, I'll be right back. She went to the gas station and she got a bunch of little creamers. And so that's how she had hers. Ooh, this smells really good.
Is that hazelnut?
No, this is... It's by Blue Bottle, I think is what it is. This coffee is actually from Jason Tamsey. Which, shout out to Jason. Jason was actually going to be the first episode. But, you know, things change. Here, you want to smell this? Jason, we're going to get you back on this podcast. I smell that.
Okay.
Smells good, right?
Yeah.
All right, so let's put that there. That water's still hot. Let's put this away. I don't need that.
Oh, I see.
It's my first time making this little of coffee as well. Well, basically what happened is last season, people would ask for coffee, and so I'd make 2 mugs, like our standard, like those Yeti style mugs. But then it would take too long to brew the water.
And how hot does that get? Boiling hot, I guess.
Yeah, you get to choose the temperature on that.
Oh, you do? I didn't
Yeah,
know that.
so it's basically like, I think coffee you're supposed to do it like 200 degrees, or if you're gonna do green tea, you do it at 170 degrees, and so you can basically choose the temperature that you want, and then set it to that.
Oh, okay.
It's my first time using it. Well, kind of. I basically practiced last night because I knew I was gonna podcast today.
I just know 3 temperatures: cold, warm, and hot. That's it. No degrees.
All right, that looks like that's gonna be doing its own thing for now.
Yep. Do you have a housekeeper?
Do I have a housekeeper? No, I am the housekeeper. But I was trained by Mom, so I'm pretty good at keeping the house, whatever that
Well,
means.
she's still trying to train me. Still.
Still in training?
Still in training.
You're still in training.
Yeah.
Let's see how much. It's probably about how much cream you take. You like to put your cream before your coffee.
Yeah. It
What?
mixes that way. It mixes it. Where's your thing that goes like this?
Oh, the
Yeah,
frother?
yeah.
It's in the house. So I got that for also to
this,
play
for
with
this.
for play with different stuff. Because the first season I basically did like coffee, tea, whiskey, but it was like just straight coffee. I had like tea bags, and then it was just like I had whiskey if it was going to be straight or a highball or things like that. But working at the bar, you know, we would come out with like seasonal menus. Oh, this is our menu for the next 6 months or things like that. So now that I have more time to start season 2, right? Because season 1 was like a shotgun. It was like, oh, dude, I'm going back to the Bay. Like, let's just call all the people who are already in your flow. These are people who you already kind of see in your day. Like, who can we get conversations with to record the podcast? So I didn't really have time to like really think all the things through. That does not look like enough water.
It is.
Huh?
It is. It is.
You think so?
Yes.
Okay, we're about to find out, Mr. McCoy.
Yeah. It's about right. Yeah. If you put it in more water, there's going to be water down.
I feel like
Perfect. Yeah. Half,
no
right?
way. Look
Half.
at that.
Half.
I know, but look, there's only 1 coffee now.
It's supposed to be.
It was supposed to be 2 coffees.
Well, how much water did you put in there?
I'm gonna taste this real quick.
Probably tastes perfect because it.
Oh, it's hella strong. You want to taste it?
No. I don't want to talk for 2 days. just an hour. Add water in it. Just add water. Boil some water. Just add it in there.
Oh, you know what I did? I don't think I measured it right. Let's see.
Just add a little bit of water, about half. Oh, wait a minute. Is that for 2 cups?
It's supposed to be for 2 cups.
Okay, then split it and then add water.
You know what? We're gonna start over. I'm gonna make a new one
Why?
because that's what we do.
Okay.
No,
Whatever.
let's not.
Split that coffee and then boil some water and fill them both up. It'll be the same. There you go, half and half. Oh, now you have cream.
It's okay.
Okay.
Now I'm
and then
making a mess. It's like water play.
Yeah. Then add water and then you'll be fine.
All right. No, but then I'm gonna add water, but I'm gonna run it through the beans.
Run it. Run it.
Run it then, like
Yeah,
the
run
little
it.
Jesse would say,
Yeah,
right?
run it. Yeah.
All right.
You do whatever you want. This is your house.
How much did I think I did? I think I did 3/4 of a cup instead of 12 ounces last time.
Just
So-
experiment in that amount right there.
Huh? Experiment?
Good. Now that's going to be watered down, I think. But you're going to run it through that thing, so it should be fine.
Yeah.
That should be fine.
All right. I wonder if there's like a minimum that you have to have. You know what I mean?
minimum.
Like a minimum line of water?
No, that's just a warmer. I mean, that's just a water heater. Right? That's all it is, water heater. Don't matter how much you put in there. Put a couple of drops, it'll still warm up.
All right. I think we can fix this. It can be salvaged.
You might have to add a little bit more cream in mine. I don't know how much cream you put in yours.
I don't know. We'll figure it out. We're figuring it's R&D, guys. It's R&D. It's an experiment. It's an experiment. Even this, I got this from Daiso. I'm probably not going to use it. It's like a baby bottle.
Let me see.
But I was trying to, try to get all the things like this. I'm so out of practice. I haven't even done all the things like lighting a candle.
That'll help.
Yeah, all the little things. All right.
So that's the water already?
So that's the water ready. See how fast the electric kettle is? All right, we're gonna run this through.
The coffee beans you put in there is for 2 cups?
The coffee beans I put in there was the ratio of
2 cups.
10 grams, 10 grams per cup, right? So 6 ounces was basically each of these are going to be that. And so I did 24 grams because you said to add a little bit extra, but it was only going to be 20. Experiment, figure out as I go. All right. Well, we're going to let that do its thing for a little bit. Oh, there's only a little bit more water. Oh, that's a lot of water.
That is a lot of water. You could stop it. Put it in the sink.
I'm going to stop it.
Put it in the sink. Put the whole thing on top, put it in the sink. Get rid of it. There, that one. Put it in the sink.
Right now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Empty it from the top?
Just leave it in the sink. Let it drip in the sink.
But what about the...
We're going to use that. Whatever
I don't think that's enough yet.
You don't think so?
I don't know.
I think it is. I think it is. We don't want the full cup. Maybe half is fine.
It's not.
Okay, then put it back. Put it back. There you go. Put it back. Now, that one is yours. You can serve mine now.
Which one you want? This one?
Yeah.
Taste it.
A little bit.
Taste it first.
Oh, it looks good. It looks good right now.
Taste it first.
It needs a little bit of cream. It is strong. It's really strong. Or it's just a taste that coffee tastes.
How about I just, oh, the cream's out here.
Then just put the cream. Cream is fine. But I don't think it's that hot.
Just cream?
Yeah, just cream. Just cream is fine. Good.
Do you want me to mix it?
Where's your toy?
It's just chopstick for now. I don't have a toy for that yet.
Okay.
But I will. Try
Thank
that.
you. Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
You sure?
Okay with me. I don't know about yours.
Okay.
This is okay
How
right
about
here.
that for you? And then one for me.
Good shot.
I will... That's hella strong.
But the coffee is not that hot. It's
What would you like?
this is fine right now. Next time make it hotter.
All right, I'll work on that. Next
Yeah.
time make it hotter. See that, guys?
Really hot because it'll cool off by itself.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Just like if you make it strong, you can always add water to make it right. If it's weak, you can. You can use that. Just like with the right now, you can make it as hot as you want, and it'll cool up by itself. If you serve it to be warm like this, it ain't gonna warm up my hand.
Yes. All right. I'm gonna add some cream to anticipate that this is gonna be strong like yours. Put that away. I'm just gonna let this run actually.
So where's your bathroom? I'm just kidding. I know where it is.
All right. I'm gonna leave that and I'll come back to that.
Yeah, I wonder why that thing was not. Where is it?
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't have a...
No, I mean the temperature.
I don't know. I like I said, I literally just opened this and tried it last night. It's again, just like season 1, I'm just like doing things on the fly. I haven't done any. You basically are the experiment, Dad. Thank you for being a part of the experiment.
I'm the experiment.
You are the experiment. Actually, every episode's been an experiment, just like this one right here. So now what I'm going to try is if I take this off and I take this with me, what do I need over here? I guess I don't need anything. All right, let me see if I could set that up. Here you go. Quick. Into nail. What's that? I don't want to do this. What did you get? All right, I think we are in business. Let me put this pillow here. It's kind of surreal being here, actually. Are you done already?
I'm done. Yeah, this is not that. Wasn't that hot? It wasn't that hot.
I failed, guys. I failed. I'm so excited to have my dad on the podcast, and I messed up right off the bat. I don't know if that's centered. I'll make sure.
That's good enough. Yeah.
You can have my coffee.
No, it's too cold.
It's too cold.
No,
it's too cold.
I'm fine with this.
You're fine with this.
Yeah,
Man, I messed up.
Like 3 hours.
One star on Google. 1 star on Google.
Okay.
How you feeling today, Dad?
I woke up 3 o'clock and was like, wow, how does an 80-year-old man feel? I felt the same as yesterday. I'm like,
okay.
I was excited, really excited.
So let's not talk about how you feel. I think that's not necessarily a good question. I think a better question is, in your 80 years, what's been some of your greatest lessons?
The greatest lessons I have is like anytime something almost bad happens, like for example, like when I lost the gas station, something good always happens. All my life, any try, like any negative, something positive happens. What I know is like everything passes. Everything passes. It passes. Sometimes it passes like a kidney stone, but it passes.
So does that give you, having that self-awareness then, does that make you able to easier handle those bad things? Like, you have this awareness now, but in the moment when you are experiencing that thing, whatever that bad thing is, or you say there's something good on the other side of it, are you always aware? Are you able to navigate?
No. I've heard people say like, there's, it's hard to see the silver lining with this cloudiness and that. In my early 30s, no, I didn't see it that way. I had to have maybe about 2 or 3 of those things that are terrible, and then something good happen.
Okay, so how old were you when you started to have this shift of perspective? Ballpark it.
Probably 40, 45, something like that.
40, 45? So your 40s. So your 40s, you basically started to have this awareness of like, okay, I'm seeing that.
Yeah, and in fact, I think it's around 38, 40 years old, yeah.
Was there a circumstance? Or
Because I was reading a lot.
Because you were reading a lot?
I was reading a lot, yeah.
When did you start reading a lot? Was it that time also?
Yeah.
Late 30s?
Yeah.
Late 30s you started reading?
I didn't learn how to read until, I would say, 38, 40 years old. I read before, but my comprehension wasn't there. But then I started reading to where, like, somebody's talking to me. And I could really, really understand what the hell I'm reading.
Wow.
It's like somebody's talking to me like, wow, and so that's how I started. I mean, anybody can read the letters. I read the letters. I read sentences, but I didn't.
You're not comprehending.
Not comprehending.
You're not actually.
No.
Not until your late 30s.
Not until my late 30s.
That's actually pretty crazy to think about, at least just for me personally. Obviously, like, reading makes a difference in your life and anybody's life, but because you were 40 when I was born, right?
Yeah.
And so that means, like, when I was born, like, you had just started this awareness.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
38, 39, 40, something like that, yeah.
Yeah. Basically exactly where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
39, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember the first book you read that time? Or how that came into your...
The very first one that I read was in 1975, I think. But it didn't... 1975, I was only like, 30 or 40? No. 1975, I would be 30. The first book that I read was from Monte Celeste. The name of the book was When I Say No, I Feel Guilty. I read that book and talked about how to communicate, assertiveness, negative assertiveness, and all of that. It was like, it fascinated me.
Yeah.
Because
you're basically learning about how we think.
Yeah.
How we think.
That
Okay.
got me started on that. Then I started reading Wayne Dyer's books.
Oh, Wayne Dyer. Rest in peace, Wayne Dyer.
Yeah, I read a lot of his books. I think I read all of his books. I can remember all the names now, but I can't remember the first one that I read.
Wayne Dyer, people, honestly, he's one of my favorite authors. I got that from my dad. Like, tremendous author, spiritual person, just awareness, talking about self-awareness, like as a human being. Wayne Dyer has so much self-awareness, has had, I don't know how you want to look at it, right? He's not here anymore, but if you read anything Wayne Dyer, I promise you it will change your life.
The very first one that I read, I think it's the first one he wrote, was Your Erroneous Zones. Erroneous Zones. I didn't know what it was. So I started reading it. I thought it was talking about sex or anything like that, but it was not. It's talking about the negativity in us, the erroneous zones. And then I got hooked on the rest of his books, like Miracles or whatever. I read all of his books.
Yeah. Okay, so 40 is a big turning point for you then, that 38 to 40.
Yeah, because
that's basically halfway ago, right? Or that's the halfway point if you're 80 now.
Yeah, 40, yeah. I was 39 when I got shocked when my mom called me that she was pregnant. I said, what? It was like, we were done. We were done. I'm talking about,
Yeah, Kuya's 11 years older than I am.
Yeah, because after that, we tried different ways and nothing. So we knew we were going to have one. That's it. So when it was like a miracle, like, wow, I was in shock for a year. A year. I was like,
you were in shock for a year until I was born?
A year.
Okay, so talking about when I was born, because there is an area that I want to talk about in terms of play, which we'll kind of get to. Play and play-based learning and that whole thing, and water play and all that stuff. So when did you decide that you wanted to go back to school to take like early childhood education classes?
A year after you were born, 1986, I went back to school.
Year after I was born, 1986. Okay, so you're basically 41, and now you've been reading for a few years now. You know what I mean? A different level of self-awareness, and then so what pushed that? I'm gonna go do that.
I wanted to learn how kids think. I wanted to learn. I read something about parenting is an art, both art and it doesn't hurt to have science in it. So it's not gonna hurt me to find out how they think. If I'm going to start raising you, if I'm going to raise kids, I don't want to be raised the way I was raised, because they didn't know what the hell they were doing, I guess. Everybody's just going by what the parents said, and then they overcompensate. But I wanted to, if there's any more. And there is a lot more. There's a lot more.
And what were some of the things that you found there?
I found out that kids, they're not miniature adults. Put it that way. I'm thinking that, they're not miniature adults. Their thinking is completely different from ours. Everything to them is magical. Even the sun, they think that because it's moving, that there's life. That life, the sun has life. So the way they look at things is completely different from the way we look at things. So what I learned from that is when I communicate with kids, I bring myself to that level because they couldn't come up to my level. There's no way they could come up to my level at that stage.
Right.
Like a toddler, there's no way.
So in that space, right? Because I feel like growing up doing sand and water play, right?
Yeah.
So sand and water play, guys, is basically like, explain it. You explain it, actually. You're better to explain what sand and water play is, because you've done it for all the generations. There's pictures of me doing it, all the way down to now your great grandkids sand and water play outside. Can we talk about that for a second?
Well, see, when I took this early childhood development thing, we studied all of this, how kids learn. And like if you take a kid to a park, you can only do so much with the slide and the swing. That's it. But if you do water play and water in a sense like, it's like peanut butter and jelly, right? If you do that, it's an open-ended thing. I mean, they could imagine all kinds of things. There's no set pattern what they could do and this, that. In fact, you would get an F if you approach a kid and you ask a kid, what are you doing? You will get an F, because you're not supposed to ask them that. What are you doing? Because they don't know what they're doing. They're just, expanding whatever the hell. Water, it's open-ended, put it that way, open-ended.
Yeah.
It's relaxing.
It's
like washing dishes.
Honestly, I feel like there's a part of, that's why I like bartending. I feel like it's just this like as if it's water play, right? I'm just like putting things in here and doing this. I feel like even that, like I'm just playing. Obviously I didn't do a very good job today, but that's part of playing and experimenting and kind of doing those things.
What I learned, we studied all kinds of different the way they do early childhood development, the Montessori one is all strict and is that play is the best way children learn. By playing, pretend play or water play, or playing. They don't even know that they're learning, but that's the fastest way they learn is by playing.
Yes, and I really believe play is the best way to learn, period. Not just for kids. I think for adults as well. Play, we learn, like, honestly, like, even my fighting style, like, I feel like I've discovered so much about articulating my body or movement because I put myself in a state of play where maybe I'll listen to music and I'm just kind of animating and I'm moving and maybe I'm shadowboxing and maybe I'm dancing, but I'm allowing myself to be anything and everything and nothing and just all of that. You get to be like water, be fluid. And because I've taken away the labels of like, all right, I'm a fighter, so I have to move like this, it becomes like having an action figure, right? When you have an action figure, this Wolverine can only be Wolverine. Like, it can't be anything. But when you play, you allow things like your imagination. You know what I mean? You allow things to exist that didn't exist before. Right?
For example, like when I had this shop, I have a brother named Mac. He's really an excellent mechanic. He jumped right into it and just, right away, whatever's got to be done. I don't. I kind of like play around with it. I look at the tools and this and that, see is there an easier way I can do this, or playing around with the ideas and this and that, and then I get done before he gets done. You know, because he jumps right into it. I don't. I kind of like size up the situation first. It's part of play.
It's part of play.
It's part of play.
I love that you threw that out there. So my dad was a mechanic by trade, is what he did when he was in the working force, I guess you could say. But I love how you can learn so much from everything, because when you were just describing what you did as a mechanic of like, I'm going to step back and I'm going to watch and I'm going to assess and I'm actually able to get the job done faster.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I do when I'm fighting. Like, I don't ever like to actually be on the offense first. Like, you come attack me. Come attack me. Let me see what your cadence is. Do you like to strike with your punches first? Do you like to come with your kicks first? How do you respond in this? And I'll assess the castle before I storm it. And then it allows me to, when I do something, it becomes very efficient. How did you know that was going to be there? And it's because I didn't run straight into battle. I studied you first. I watched you a little bit, and whether it's in fighting or whether it's in mechanics, like that same approach.
You gotta size up the situation. I've been to a lot of bar fights, and you have heard that, right? You gotta size up the situation before you even jump into it. I've jumped into it before, and it was a disaster. I mean, I didn't get hurt, but still, it was like
it was a disaster.
It was a disaster. I ended up in jail. I gotta size up the situation and anything. It doesn't take, but if just size up the situation, then. And don't get into anything you can't get out of.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. I gotta have the exit. And it's true in life.
No, okay, so like as you continue to go there, and for those of you in the fighting space, like that's also the approach, right? You talk about having the exit. It's like, okay, now to relate it back to fighting, I've assessed the situation. Now it's time to go in. Whether I'm on the offense and I'm applying some technique, or like I'm setting him up because I know that he's gonna come in and now I'm gonna strike. But I'm making a move now.
Yeah.
But before I make that move, I always have, where's my exit route? After I hit them, where am I going?
Yeah.
Or after I get in the scuffle and you play out the scenarios of like, okay, this is a possible scenario where we can stand and bang here, or I hit and I move. What do they want to do, like, back to me?
Yeah.
Like, what is the most common? What would I do if someone caught me off guard and hit me on this angle or this and that? I would have to, what is my only option? I have to go this way, or whatever it happens to be. And then so you think about, what's my exit route? So now as I come in, I'm not just coming in like, I'm going to lay this out. It's like here, and then I'm going to move, throw a shot, and then I'm going to move that way because I know you're going to track me. Like, I know you're an intelligent fighter, so you're going to track me, so now you're going to be there. And so it is that exit route, and like how everything is everything. Whether you're talking about mechanics, whether you're talking about fighting, if you're able to pull back and see the self-awareness of like, everything is there to teach you about life.
Yeah.
Right?
It's about the exit. When Jeffrey used to fight and point fighting and this and that, and I would learn this from Greg. And if you want the guy to kick you, kick him first, because he's going to try and kick you back. I'll kick him, maybe whether I miss or not, he's going to try and do that. So now I'm ready for that. You know what I mean?
I still do that.
Yeah.
I still do that.
Yeah.
I still do that. I still teach that. It's the most simple thing, but it is, you're playing to the human behavior.
Yeah.
What's the human behavior is like, you do that, they're going to want to do that back to you. Why? Because the ego wants to prove like, I can do it.
It works all the time.
All the time. All the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that was a cool little. Let's move. That was your 40s, right? 40s is basically, or late 30s. Your 40s now. You are basically having this different self-awareness, and you talk about being this person who was getting into these bar fights and this and that. But that's not the person you are now,
No,
right?
no.
Like what? Okay, so let's go through the different stages of Jesse, right? The 40s. We basically started in the 40s. We started right in the middle, right? This little, there's a shift and change. So this is a choose your own adventure. Do you want to go this way towards the earlier years, or you want to go that way towards the later years?
Whatever direction you want to go. Whatever direction you want to go. I have one story. That's it. I mean, like, left or right, it don't matter. It has, same story.
So what is your story?
My story about my life.
What's your story? You said you have a story. Tell me whatever that story is that you say that you have.
I went through stages. In the early 20s, and then the 30s and 40s. The story is the same. In other words, I don't know. There's stages we go through. We all different, but we go through stages. Human beings do. Like, you're a toddler, you're a teenager, and then you're a young adult, and she's an adult, and then you mature. You get 40s and 50s, and everybody goes through the same. If you don't complete, which I didn't complete when I was in my teenage years, if you don't complete, I guarantee you're going to repeat. You're going to repeat that stage. That's what happened to me. If you don't complete that stage, you will repeat. You act like a toddler if you don't complete that toddler stage. So there are tantrums and shit,
But your story, you didn't answer the question. What's your story?
My story? I don't know what my story is. My story came from the slums, right? I came from Tondo, the rough neighborhood, and came to America and a beautiful life. That's my story. I mean, like, if I was to end it, it would be like, everybody lived happily ever after. That's the end. That would be the ending. Everybody lived happily ever after. And it started like, once upon a time, there was this guy who was like...
You don't want your story to start with once upon a time, Dad?
Yeah. Once upon a time in Tondo, Manila. It's like, wow, how did I survive that shit? I mean, I didn't think it was that rough when I was there, but now that I look back, dang, it was pretty rough.
Speaking of rough, what was, you talk about these different phases you go through, and maybe a phase is 5 years, maybe a phase is 15 years, versus it being like decades, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. In all these stages of your development, what was the roughest stage? What was the hardest stage for you?
Probably between 40 and 50.
Between 40 and 50?
Yeah.
Why was it the hardest stage?
Well, first of all, I stayed home for 7 years, right? So that was a different experience. It was difficult because the society looks at you like you're not working, you're staying home, you're taking care of your son. You're like you're no good, you're not income, you're supposed to be supporting a family and this and that. But I chose that role. Because we didn't really need two income, right? Because I didn't want anybody else to raise you. I saw the way we were raised, everybody was raised, Jeffrey was raised. I said, no, I want to do something different. I want to be there. Being there is the name of the game. Being there. I mean, I can hire somebody to take care of me while I go to work. It didn't make sense to me. It didn't make sense to me, and they could not understand the kind of thinking that, why would I want to pay somebody to take care of my child? And here I'm working, and so one of us got to stay home. I told you, one of us got to stay home. She's not about to give up her nursing, and I don't blame her. I was ready to give up mine. I was spacing out already. I was getting tired of it, doing mechanic work. And 1985, it's like a coincidence. 1985 was when the carburation in the cars phasing out, fuel injections getting in, and different technologies going in and out. So I said, I'm not into this anymore. I just decided, I'm going to stay home and do this. It was because there was a story when I was taking.
Thank you, by the way. Thank you.
You're welcome.
For taking care of me.
Early childhood development. We were. There was a story about these 4 little kids. It's 4-year-old kids, and one was asked, what does your dad do? My dad owns a dealership, owns this car, and the other one goes, my dad's a pilot. He owned this and that, and then the fourth guy that they asked, the fourth kid, what does your dad do? My dad is here. My dad is here with me. That stuck with me. That stuck with me.
Wow.
And mom knows that. I said, being there is the name of the game. No matter how hard it was really hard because, when mom comes home from work, I want to take a break because I'm with you all day long. I want to take a break. We have...
I'm sure all the like single moms or the moms out there are like, preach, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure that's how they feel too, right? They're,
Because,
as a caregiver.
Yeah, and I would say, like, you know what? Anything you can do, I can do except breastfeed and actually have a baby. But whatever you do, wash the dishes, I could do all of that. I didn't want to put a gender thing to it.
Dang.
I didn't put a gender
Look at that.
thing to it.
What is it? What year is this? 1985, right? In the 80s.
Yeah.
My dad was already not trying to do gender roles in the 80s. Look at that progressive man over here.
I was like, and just like with Jeffrey, when I was raising Jeffrey, he thought his last name was Kitchen. Jeff Kitchen, because he would do the dishes, to do all of that. There's no gender here. There's no, like I said, you don't think that I cannot do is actually have a baby and breastfeed. Other than that, what a woman can do, I can do. Maybe that's limited to where I think women are stronger, in my opinion, emotionally than men. Because I get very sensitive. And I get like,
you are sensitive, Dad.
I get very sensitive. I get like, So, but women, they can handle the stress. They can handle. Moms are amazing.
I think we're different creatures. Like we're still human beings, but like males operate a little differently, females operate a little differently, and it's not this thing of like this is better than that. They're complements, like yin yang, like they're the male and female is meant to be the like opposite sides of the battery.
Did you read that book? Men are from Mars and women are paid in the ass.
That's not.
No, it's different. No, I just made that shit up.
I have though. The men are from Mars, women are from Venus.
Yeah.
I remember seeing you have that book, and I ended up. I think I read it.
Yeah.
I think I might have read that actually when I was in Costa Rica.
Yeah. I did. I read a lot. Read a lot.
Which is a huge testament to your growth, right? Self-awareness. You see different things. Okay, so we're in your 40s now, and you basically said like that was your hardest kind of phase because of that. Was there anything else that made it hard, or was it just that transitioning into a new role and the societal norms?
Well, it was like I was drinking. Not a lot, and then I got into methamphetamine. So I dabbled here and there way before that, right? But this time it seemed like it would make my work easier if I have all this energy. I could do I could do different things. I not knowing the after effect, not knowing that the side effect of that's gonna be like it's terrible. The side effects, the paranoia and irritability, it changes your personality. I got into that. That's what made it harder. But I stuck to my gun to I'm gonna do this because you were 7 years old when you were going to school when I decided I'm gonna go back to work. But I was unemployed and unemployable. I mean, so that's what I decided. You know what? I'll probably open up my own shop because these guys that own the shop, they were just like one guy who owned the shop he was our lot boy. He didn't know anything about mechanics. So if he could do that, I could do way better than that. That's when I started, getting back into the mechanics, opening up the shop.
Okay. So speaking of that, tumbling into the next phase of your life, you're basically raising me until I'm 7, 8 years old. You open up the shop. You have the shop for 5 years. That's until what? From 93 to 98. But then you got clean and sober in 97.
Right.
So let's talk about that transition. What got you there to that next phase? What was happening in your life? Well, this is part of your. I'm sure on all your meetings that you go to, like you've shared the story.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that it makes sense to me is like I got sick and tired of being sick and tired. I got sick and tired of being sick and tired. I mean, like it didn't make sense anymore. I got to do something different. Mom and I always arguing and this that, and I was always irritable, and I didn't know how to stop. I didn't know how to stop, and so something happened one time, and Mom and I are arguing. And she had a desk in the bedroom, right? And she was doing some work, and I'm in the back. Then we were arguing, and then I hated the word sick. And she goes, "You're sick." And when she said you're sick, I went, "Okay, so I'm sick. Take me to the doctor then." And she goes like this, really? Really? She was shocked. Yeah, they were like, I was like, I'm ready to do some changes. I just didn't know why. I didn't know what to do. I had no idea what to do. You
Just
know?
helpless,
Yeah.
frustrated, don't know how to.
Yeah. I didn't know what to do. I said, so she was okay. We could go to the treatment center. I didn't. I went to San Jose because I didn't want anybody to know. But then that didn't work out. That wasn't 97. That was 1996. It took me another year before I decided I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go to this place in Fremont because I didn't want to go in the shop anymore. I didn't want to do anything anymore. I just like get away from it. Because in the shop, and if you remember, there's Crown Royal all over the place, there's beer all over the place. All I did was play a little mini basketball and had two train mechanics working, doing the work, and I was just playing.
Yeah.
And I got tired of it.
Yeah.
I got tired of it. So I got into the recovery in 1997. I was 52 years old, had no clue what the hell I was getting into. All I know is I wanted to stop, and I didn't know how to do it.
So then in that time, at 52, you did stop.
Yeah.
And you wear that necklace as a representation of basically that life that you...
This life after meth.
Life after meth.
It is.
So let's talk about recovery. How...
Getting into recovery, I didn't know what I was getting into. I thought I would just learn how to quit drugs. I didn't even know that I had problem with alcohol because I just wanted to stop using methamphetamine because I'm imagining things, I'm paranoid, and I just want to stop that. But then when they said something about drinking, I said, I don't have any problem drinking. All my life I drank, right? I don't have any problem drinking. And so the psychiatrist says, good, if you have no problem drinking, then you should not have any problem not drinking because this is a complete abstinence program. So I said, time out. I'm in the wrong place. Time out. I mean, I did not understand what he was talking about, because I did not know what an alcoholic was. I thought it was somebody pushing the cart, long beard, probably wearing, something, long coat in the summertime, probably homeless and white. I thought only white people were alcoholics. I thought that was shit, and only black people were drug addicts. I don't qualify for none of those. So I didn't know. I had no idea. I had no idea that the drugs and alcohol is not the problem. I am the problem. The drugs and alcohol is just a symptom. There was something going on with me that I didn't know. I need to find out. So getting into that program, slowly you get to learn. I get to know another Jesse. I get to know this is the real Jesse. You take the drugs and alcohol away and facing life on life's terms. It's a new ball game.
And who is that Jesse? You said you got to meet a new Jesse afterwards. Who is that new Jesse?
The new Jesse is me now.
And who is that?
I'm clean and sober and a straight family, facing life on life's terms. Whatever life throws at me, like I was diagnosed with cancer. Oh shit, here we go. 71, I'm gonna die of cancer because my dad died of cancer, my mom died of cancer, my brother died of cancer, my sister died of cancer. I'm gonna die of cancer. But no, I didn't. And drinking and drugging didn't even enter my mind. I was just scared. But this is what life's all about. At 71, I'm thinking, I'm dead, right? But I'm still here, 80 now. So
80.
Beat cancer.
Congrats, Dad.
Beat cancer. I don't know how. Because of your mom, I beat cancer. Because of that. Because really, really early discovery. Very early. Because if it was no chemotherapy, no radiation, none of that. We just 9-hour surgery and survived, and it was I was scared.
Yeah.
Very scared. But like I said, the drug and alcohol didn't even enter my... It was just like, this is what life is all about,
Yeah. To go back a little bit, when you were talking about finding this new Jesse, and you said, like, you realized that the drugs and alcohol were not the problem. It was like, I'm the problem. These are just the symptoms of the problem. So in order to fix the problem, you talk about going through the 12 steps, right? Mm-hmm. Was that basically what you did to assess that? Like, let's talk about that, because there's obviously, it's not just going in and checking yourself and showing up to meetings that makes the changes. Like, you actually have to make the changes.
Yeah.
Right? Because I mean, I remember when you were just starting to go to meetings, like within that first year or two, and you know, we're driving up the hill here, and you're just going to take a different path because you're saying like
practice changes.
Practice changes.
Yeah.
You know, take a different way. Practice changes. So now you're practicing change, right? Change basically is like your new MO. Let's either talk about like change or like the 12 steps, and what that does, and just that whole. I would like to hear more about that.
The 12 step, the first step just talks about the drugs or the alcohol. This is powerless over the, over alcohol, and that my life had become unmanageable. That's it, right? That's the first step. The next 11 steps don't even talk about alcohol or drugs. It talks about a higher power. It talks about knowing who you are. It talks about who the real Jess is, the fears, the anxieties, the resentments, all of that, addressing that. So going to the 12 step, to me, is the easier stuff to wait. By the time you get to about 4 or 5, you get to know a little bit of Jess, and by the time you get done with that, you will what we call a spiritual awakening to where a new awareness, It's the easier stuff to change, because me as a human being, when I do something, I don't want to make any changes because I get used to it, right? But to make changes, like I said, I practice the changes because life is about changes. And in order for me to get to that, just when I did the 12 steps, by the time I get to the 4th and 5th, things were changing. And you guys notice I'm not easily irritable. I don't chase that son of a bitch up to the finger in the freeway. I don't,
But that was crazy. Talking about, I mean, we're in an older era of Jesse right now, and maybe we'll cycle back to some younger era of that, because I do want to touch on that. But since you talked about like you started to really see this change when you got to like the 3rd or 4th step. So since the first step is about
put the plug in the jug
basically
first.
surrendering, right? That the drugs and alcohol part is
the plug in the jug.
Okay.
Put the drugs in the alcohol away.
What's steps 2, 3, and 4?
Step two says, so we talk about the alcohol with the first step. The second step talks about came to believe that a power greater than me can restore me to sanity, which is probably a higher power, a God, whatever. There's got to be something. I cannot solve it. That was I have to have a higher power, whether it's the universe or something, whatever you got, it no matter. It doesn't matter. Okay. And then the third one talks about you're turning your life and you will over to the care of God as you understand God. As you understand God. So I ask myself, what does that mean? Turn your will and your life. That means your thinking and your behavior. You're turning it over to a power greater than you, so you don't get into all that trouble. A power greater than you that could help you do this. That was the 3rd step. The 4th step was the hardest one, because the 4th step is like taking fearless moral inventory of yourself. You're talking about people you're pissed off about, the resentment, the anger, the fear, all of that. And then what do you do with it? So it says, the 5th step says, admit it to God and to another human being, and to ourselves, the exact natures if you're wrong. Catholics have this as a confession, but confession really don't work for us, because confession, you do the confession and then 5 Hail Marys of our Father and you're done. We're not. The Catholic, they admire the 12 step because we have what we call, we make amends. We make, a million I'm sorry, and that's going to change anything. But if I tell you that I'm sorry for what I did, what can I do to make it right? That's making amends, making it right. We go one step further than the confession. So by the time you get there to where you have the...
That's the 5th or 6th?
The 5th. That's the 5th. That's the 5th, yeah.
The making amends. 4 is taking the inventory, 5 is making the amends.
Yeah, by making that. And then the 6th one is like, we're entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. I thought it was only about an hour to do that. And then the 7th one says, humbly ask God to remove all these character defects, things that are getting in the way of, being useful to people. And then you get to the 8th step, which is you got to write down all the people that you had harmed and become willing to make amends to them all, to make things right. All the people that you had harmed, anybody, the wife, the kids, people that you had harmed. By the time you get there, you would know who you harmed because it's the 4th step. So then the hardest one was the 9th step. You make direct amends to people that you had harmed. In other words, if I'm going to go tell this person what I did and this and that, he might shoot me or he might, that was pretty scary. That's why I got stuck for 4.5 years on the fourth because I was afraid to go to the ninth step, knowing that some of the things that I did probably go to jail or, or probably not be forgiven by my in-laws for all the behaviors I did. That was really, it was like, I don't want to do that. I mean, everything's okay now. I don't have to make amends and this, that. But I had to do that in order to progress. I have to make things right.
You have to do the hard stuff.
Through the hard, that's the work that you got to do.
That's the work.
That's the work, the next step, yeah. So
what's 10, 11, and 12?
10 is continue to take personal inventory and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. So I have an experience that I'll tell you. I remember one time my brother and I in Las Vegas, we bumped heads about something, right? And so I was talking to my sponsor about it. And my sponsor is always calling me on my own shit. He goes, okay, well, what's your part in it? And I go, well, I yelled at him, he's my brother and this and that. And I know I have to make amends. Eventually I have to call him, make amends. And he says, where does it say eventually in the 10th step? It says, when we were wrong, promptly, it says. You got to do it now. I mean, don't wait too long,
Yeah.
So that was the 10 steps, like whenever we were wrong, properly admit it, right away, make it right away.
Tending to your garden. Like,
yes,
now as these weeds show up, pull the weeds when you see it. Pull the weeds when you see it.
Yeah. I said it was my maintenance steps. There's no maintenance steps, just continued. You don't, because, I'm going to make a mistake. When I wake, every time you make a mistake, you promptly correct it. That's that's a 10th step.
And then what about 11 and 12?
11 says something about sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understand God. Praying only for knowledge of His will for us to carry that out. So that's my least favorite, the God thing, because I could not explain what God is. I thought I did. Born and raised Catholic, I don't know what God was. Until I got to the program, I really don't know what God is. I don't have the capacity to explain what that is. I know one thing, I'm not smart enough to be an atheist. Got to be really smart to be an atheist. I cannot prove that there's a God or there's no God. So what does that put me in the category of what? Agnostic? I don't know what that category is.
Do you have to categorize yourself? Do you have to put yourself in a box?
I don't know. But all I know is my hat's off to the people that could explain this God thing. I can't. So that's the 11th step. When it comes to prayers, I hardly pray anymore, except, when we go do the Our Father and all that. Because I feel like when I was praying, I'm asking God for something. I feel like, just get me out of this one or grant me this. I was asking for something like Santa Claus.
Yeah.
So I feel embarrassed to what the prayers I had now is really, really short, like a lot of thank you all day long. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Right? The meditation, prayer meditation, they say that prayer is talking to God, meditation is listening to God. I don't know what I'm listening to, but all I know is I don't know what I'm listening to. All I know is that when I'm meditating, washing dishes, whatever, my mind is clear. I'm clear from wrongdoings or whatever. I'm relaxed. It's the 12 steps. The fun part is, having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we try to carry this message to addicts or alcoholics, and to practice these principles in all our affairs. So, what the hell is spiritual awakening, right? What does that mean? What does that mean? The big book talked about spiritual experience, like some people saw the bright light or God talked to them and all that.
Sure.
I didn't have none of that. I had what I call a spiritual awakening. It's a slow process of garden variety, educational. All of a sudden, it's not comfortable to be lying. It's not comfortable to be hiding this. It's just not comfortable. You develop a conscience. To where I don't want to do those bad things anymore. You know what I mean? It's just not comfortable anymore. So that's the spiritual awakening. The spirit in you, I still have all the character defects, but I know what to do with it.
Right.
It's still there. I know what to do with it, because the spiritual awakening, the spirit in you just wakes up like, what, time to be a different person.
Yeah. And you are now a different person.
Well, yeah.
Before we go on, I just want to check the battery life on these things to make sure that they're not going to die on us. Can you just tap the back of the screen for me? Just touch it. Okay. That looks like it's still going.
Belt hat. It's hot. Yeah.
That's okay. We're gonna let this continue to rock. We're about an hour in. But I just want to make sure, if you guys have been following any of the season, you know that these GoPros sometimes overheat and turn off. So I'm just trying to be more mindful of that. But to go back, okay. So you just took us down this 12 steps of basically transformation.
Yeah.
12 steps is actually something we should all do as human beings,
Yeah.
right? Like, in order to heal ourselves, in order to transform, in order to be...
Well, like you said, I don't want to say that I'm an AA guy or NA guy, or, you know, I'm a 12-stepper. I'm a 12-stepper.
12-stepper.
Yeah. In other words, it's like this. I had a client, a doctor, and he explained this to me. It made sense to me. Let's really teach this in high school. The 12-step. What happens? He goes, if a doctor gives a diet to somebody who's got diabetes, that diet that he gives this guy, if you give it to a guy without diabetes, it's still healthy. So if people, you know, if they teach this in high school, how to do this 12-step, you know, to transform yourself, you know, it's like I said, I'll go to AA, I'll go to NA. As long as you're in the DA, I'm going to go to any kind of 12-step because it helps.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It does. It helps. In fact, when they did this in the 30s, everybody tried to copy it. Narcotics Anonymous, Marijuana Anonymous, Overeaters Anonymous, you know, all of these anonymous things that they're talking about, they copied it from the AA.
From the 12 steps.
From the 12 steps. All they do is change the first, which is alcohol or drugs.
That's
or sex.
the first step.
Yeah, and then the rest of the steps exactly the same.
It's basically taking inventory of yourself as a human being and doing the work. That's
Yeah.
the work.
Yeah.
The 12 steps is the work.
It's the work.
So you're a 12-stepper.
I'm a 12-stepper.
You're a 12-stepper. Ooh, flex on him. Okay, so you're a 12-stepper, and you've obviously become a different person. You talk about meeting the new Jesse, right? Now that's who you are now in this day. And for those of you who are watching, you can, just by listening to him, see the wealth of knowledge and wisdom and experience that he's gained in becoming this. But let's just kind of, if this is the new Jesse, the current day Jesse, which is kind of a paradox, new, but then you're also 80, right? If you're this current day Jesse, who were you before? Let's go in the other direction now. Let's go to some pre. let's go to some pre. Like who were you before you made all these changes?
Oh my God, I was a crazy guy. Oh shit, I came from in a place where we were raised. You cannot afford to be kind. Being kind means it's a weakness. You have to, even if you're not tough, you have to act tough and stuff like that. And so that's how I was, you know, this neighborhood, that's how I was raised. Brought it all the way to America and it was like that. Eating out of jail, you know. I think I lost track 8 or 9 times that I went to jail. Nothing major, just, you know, bar fights and stuff like that. I had a couple of felonies that was expunged. But nothing really major to have the time for. Overnight, 2 nights maybe. So 10 days was the longest.
Is that we'll cycle we'll cycle back to that story you kind of talked about earlier, like, oh, I'm not that person anymore who gets out of the car and pulls a knife out. Like, what is that? Is that Tondo kid that's still living as a 20-year-old or 30-year-old who just has to be tough, or what?
Yes. I remember, you probably don't remember this, you and Jeffrey sitting in the back and Mom in the front. I'm driving the 1981 Honda, the blue Honda from Makita Moore. And this guy threw a finger at me. We're coming down Marwi, we're going to make a left to Mission Boulevard, right? He threw a finger. I could not chase him, he's fast. He left, right? But as soon as he made that left on Mission Boulevard, he was going to make a left towards Niles. And he's waiting for the green arrow, right? Green arrow. There are a whole bunch of cars. So what I did, I'm coming this way, I blocked the whole lane and everybody's honking down and I'm walking around like, before I did that, Jeffrey was laughing because Jeffrey knew I was bluffing. I bent over, pretend I was getting something, and I was in my cut-off Levi's and stuff like that. My tattoo was showing. I pretended I was getting something and it took my time. I walked slowly to the next guy. I don't know if you remember, you were scared.
I was little, I mean barely.
It was like, that's kind of just, I mean, the guy could have shot me if he had a gun, but that's the kind of guy I just didn't think.
And that's pretty much who you were from coming here at, what, 17, right? You came here at 17. Yeah. Literally fresh off of a boat. What, how many days?
There was 19 days in the boat.
19 days on a boat to get here.
I don't know. April 16, we left the Philippines. We got here May 4th. So, I don't know, whatever days that is. 19, 20, whatever.
So, from 17 to all the way through, you're just pretty much wilding out?
All the way to what?
All the way till you started to make these changes, like mid, or do you already start to mellow out?
Yeah.
All the way through?
Yeah, all the way through, yeah. Yeah, there might be a year to mellow out. But all the way to my thinking was like that. I was that. That was my
Your persona.
my persona was that.
And what persona was that?
I don't know. That it was like, was I pretending? I don't know if I was pretending. It was like, because when I got to recovery, I go, wow, I looked at the guy, who is that guy? I mean, look at what the hell is he, you know?
I mean, you looked pretty. I obviously wasn't even around for this era, but you looked like a pretty badass with your cut off your cut off jean vest. I'm gonna drop a picture in this right here. Cut off jean vest, short shorts, like tattoos, you like don't fuck with that dude.
That's
like
it. That's exactly what it was. That's exactly what it was. Exactly. That's when I met your mom. That's when she met me. I was like that. I was like that all my life. That's why
not all your life, up until that point.
Up until that point. That's why even my older brothers, I'm the youngest out of the 4 brothers, right? Because there's 4 of us guys and 3 girls. All of them were scared of me. I'm the youngest. They're scared because they knew I always had a gun. I always carried a knife. I
remember that. All your jeans would have like the marks, like with the
But I never stabbed anybody. I never shot anybody. It was just like, it's just there for a backup. They were just like, always like, you know, I don't know, tough or whatever. But I got into recovery. But I'm not really that tough shit. You know, I'm not like a pimp like I thought I was. I'm a fucking wimp. That's what So I don't mind being a wimp. Shit, I don't go to jail anymore, right? My family loves me. Shit.
Changes.
Yeah.
Changes.
Yeah.
Changes. What I'm gonna do, actually, I do want to get into a conversation about change, since we're kind of talking about the changes you made, kind of highlighting the old Jesse versus the new Jesse. But I know that these batteries are probably going to go out soon. So what I'm going to do is we're going to take a short little intermission, so that I can swap out these batteries, and we will be right back picking up with the idea of change. Cool?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hope you guys have been enjoying so far. My dad, guys, look at that. I don't even have to say anything. This is the Jesse show. This is the Jesse show. He will be a repeat guest for sure, especially since I'm at home right now. But again, like I said, we're just gonna take a pause so I could swap out batteries. We'll catch you on the flip side. Okay. What up, guys? We are back. Getting a little faster at this NASCAR pit stop of changing out batteries and things like that. Again, still figuring out as I go. But that's just life, right? You just make changes on the fly and you kind of adjust. So speaking of change is kind of where we left off, right? You were obviously this early Jesse, and now you're this later Jesse, and you've gone through lots of change in your life, right?
Lots and lots of change.
Lots and lots of change. I think I asked you, maybe it was when you turned 78, somewhere around there, when I asked you, like, what are the greatest lessons you've learned in life at 78? And do you remember what your answer was for me?
No.
I'll give you a hint. It has to do with change.
I don't remember exactly what you asked me.
What I asked you is kind of the question I asked you today on, like, what have you learned, or what's the greatest lesson you've learned at 80, but it was at 78. And you told me paradox.
Yeah, paradox has, those four
humor,
sequences in
and
life, change, yeah. And the fourth one, there's no fucking change. There's no secret in life. But I found 2 more when I got to recovery.
What is that?
I found 2 more that, I thought I knew what it meant. I found gratitude and humility. Those are 2 ingredients that, wow, I didn't confuse humility with humiliation. No, I know what humility is, but I didn't know what the hell they meant by humility, what the hell they meant by gratitude, by being grateful. I didn't know how to, after reading the law of attraction, I got a better sense of that gratitude thing, which is what I do every day. It's really I use gratitude as my antidote to everything. Antidote to whatever I'm going through. Whenever I run into something, it's confusing, whatever, I go, wait, stop. How do I apply gratitude in this? You know what I mean? How do I see that and humility and humility? Of course, I look in the dictionary because English my second language. But does humility mean? There's a whole bunch of definitions in there. One that I like is it says a modest assessment of one's importance. A modest assessment, right? And then things that I hear, like humility is not thinking less of myself, but thinking of myself less, right? Those are the things that I hear and that I go, well, it makes sense to me. Humility is remaining teachable.
Yeah.
It's not this every time you talk, say, yeah, I know. No, I don't know. Remain teachable. That's, that's humility right there. It has nothing to do with, and humility is knowing that I cannot do this by myself. Humility is knowing that, even when they say, no man is an island, but I make a damn good peninsula. I don't want to hang out with losers. I was a loser. You know what I mean? I would pick by, people that are doing the same thing that I'm doing, do some changes in their lives. That's what humility is. And gratitude, the question about gratitude is like, there's no, gratitude is magic.
Gratitude is magic.
Magic, I think it's magic.
Gratitude is 100% magic.
Yeah.
Guys, really, magic is real. We talk about play-based learning and imagination.
Yeah.
And like it's all part of that. Gratitude is really magic. It puts you into a different space.
Yeah.
We kind of my dad kind of just mentioned the law of attraction and things like that. I don't know where you're at in your understanding of that or how you feel about that. But if we are a receiver, or like we give out a frequency, you know what I mean? Like as if like it's a radio station, as human beings, you can call it your aura, you can call it your energy, whatever it is. We give out some type of energy and we attract whatever that is. It's like a magnet,
right?
And so when we are in a state of gratitude, like it almost feels like there's not a higher frequency than that, gratitude, love, appreciation, like that. We're making up words. My dad just said something about, he looked up this word humility in the dictionary. Words are just words. Words have labels. We created words. We created meaning. But the meaning of the gratitude, the appreciation, the love, it's like all of that.
Yeah.
It's all of that frequency. And so when you're in a state of gratitude, it's almost like just things kind of.
When you're grateful for what you have and not regretful for what you don't have. That makes a big difference, because which sometimes I get into this, we are in the premise of lacking or less than. So then you get this, what I think the disease of the world, more, and there's no ending to the more. And I heard this before, and I believe in it, that there's two ways of becoming rich. Right, acquiring more, which is not there's no ending, or desiring less. When I desire less, I can't believe how much more, extras I have in life.
Yeah.
I desire less. I mean,
No, I feel that. I mean, obviously, I'm living at home right now, right, because I'm back from surgery and whatnot. But part of the ethos or the MO of moving into this van, like not that I was going to do it forever, but was to experiment with going in the opposite direction, right? And instead of being more, desiring less.
Yeah.
And it's like I'm constantly pruning. What else can I get rid of? Instead of like, what else can I buy? What else can I get? More shelves and more this, and I have this house, and it's like, well, how about if I just continue to go in the other, swim against the current?
Yeah.
I can always resubscribe to the lifestyle of more, but you get so much more when you don't have.
Yeah. Less is more, really.
Less is more.
Yeah.
Less is more. There's more freedom. There's more space. There's all of that. So humility and gratitude.
Yeah. Those are the two things that I thought I knew 3 secrets in life: change, paradox, and good sense of humor. And the other two that I get, wow, this is pretty cool. Those are the, I can get by with those 5 tricks.
Those 5. Yeah. Paradox, humor, change.
Yeah, gotta have good sense of humor. You gotta have good sense of humor.
That is to talk about reading Way of the Peaceful Warrior by Dan Millman, another author like Wayne Dyer that I got from you. A theme in that book is paradox, humor, and change in terms of like lessons in life. And so to kind of go back when I was asking you at 78, and I remember you telling me that, and almost thinking like, Dad, I already know that one. You know what I mean? Like, you told me that one already. Like, what else? Like, as if like, what else do you got? Again, this disease of more.
Yeah.
I need to know more secrets. I need to learn more. And even in the self-help direction of, say, self-awareness, we sometimes get trapped in the, I need to know more so that I can, and this, but it's really that simple. It still is the paradox, humor, and change. It doesn't matter if it's 20 years ago or 20 years from now or 100 years ago.
Paradox is kind of hard to grasp at first. It's like two seemingly opposite ideas, but the same. I mean, like, it makes sense. For a good example with that, it's like, in my recovery, it's like, we got to give it away to keep it. And I'm thinking, what the hell does that mean? Because I'm trying to understand paradox. That's what the paradox is all about.
And what does that mean to you? We have to give it away to keep it.
That means I gotta, if I want to stay clean and sober and this, that, I gotta show people, I gotta give it to others, I gotta help. Whether they make it or not, it's not up to me. I'm planting the seed. If you want what I have, you gotta do what I did. It's as simple as that. And this is what I did. I cannot, no advice, because the worst advice is advice. I can only share you my experience, and if you get something out of it, that's how we give it away. That's how we carry the message, not the mess. That's what we do.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so then let's talk about one more, because if we talk about these 5 things, right? At 80 years old, these are the 5 greatest lessons you've learned in, dealing with life. Paradox, humor, change, humility, gratitude, right? The one that we didn't actually talk about yet is humor, right? We've talked about change, all the changes you went through and how it changed. We talked about paradox now. We've talked about humility and gratitude, but let's talk about humor.
Humor, I find it funny to read these dad jokes. I remember to make you and Jeffrey uncomfortable, I would do this dad joke, and you guys so uncomfortable when you were in high school. I would do this on purpose just to see you guys' reaction. But I think, you gotta have a good sense of humor.
I agree.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah, no, I'm laughing all the time.
Yeah.
I even laugh at myself. I especially
I laugh at myself when I make a mistake. When I'm by myself and I screw up, I start laughing. I go, okay, there we go again. I have to. You have to. It's just, and not talk bad about your mom, but I really thought that she doesn't have any sense, didn't have any sense of humor. She's now developing it in the last couple of years. She's getting lightened up. She's always uptight, right?
It has been nice to see mom relax a little bit.
Yeah, she's appreciating my dad jokes and shit like that. I don't even remember that. I'm just like,
laughter is medicine too, Yeah. And I think laughter. You talk about laughing at yourself, and I laugh at myself. You talk about who is that guy, that old Jesse? Sometimes even when I think about younger versions of me, and it's like I'm almost cringing at myself.
Yeah, I know.
Oh my God, who is that guy? Who does he think he is?
Yeah.
You have to laugh at yourself, because laughter is medicine, and I think especially laughing at yourself is also a practice in humility, right? You're not taking yourself so seriously.
Yeah.
Or would you say a modest? What was it again? A modest
assessment of one's importance.
Right. Whereas if it makes it such a big deal, it's because you think you're so important. You think it's so this. If you can laugh at yourself, we're all gonna die anyways, right?
Yeah.
Nobody makes it out of this alive.
Yeah. Like I said, the humility thing is kind of tricky, because I probably could not be as humble as I want to be, but that doesn't stop me from practicing humility. Mm-hmm. It doesn't stop me from practicing humility. It's just a practice.
Spoken like a true Macaloloy. If you know a Macaloloy, all the Macaloloys think they're the best at whatever it is that they do.
Yes, and so to practice humility is kind of like, okay, I'm going to be humble today. and every time you say you're humble, you're not.
Right.
Anytime you say you're humble, you're not. It's as simple as that. It's
because then to label yourself now, you almost invite ego back in to be I'm this, as if I'm more spiritual than you, or I'm more humble than you, instead of just allowing yourself to be.
Yeah, there's some things that I've been learning the last few years when I'm talking to people, because before we were talking like this, I already know what I'm going to say. I'm listening, so I could have a rebuttal, right?
Right.
But now it's I'm listening to it to understand whether I agree with it or not, just to understand what the hell you're talking about. That's something different. That's something new to me. It was new to me, to understand. And when I do that, I find myself not talking about anything, but I don't want to say shit,
Yeah. I think that actually comes back to, I know you say that just in the last few years you've changed the way you communicate in that space, and especially you're such a leader or figure in the community of whether it's the AA or the 12 steps. You're you go to the Philippines and you're like a celebrity over there sometimes.
Yeah.
I already forgot kind of where I was going with that. What were you just saying before? I got distracted by you being a celebrity in the Philippines.
About listening.
Oh, about listening. And you're just saying, I can just listen and not agree, but I can just sit and observe. I think that goes back to when you talked about your definition of love.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So please share your definition of love.
Well, I don't know where I got it from, Dyer or whatever, but definition of love is the ability and willingness to allow those that you care for to be what they choose without the insistence that they love you back. That's what Bruce was saying. Today he was saying, like, you're my favorite uncle. Why? Because you accept people who they are. I do. I have to practice that, because before I got to recovery, I have my own prejudices and my own, stuff like that. But all of that's kind of like weeded out.
Yeah.
Weeded out. Maybe because maybe age got something to do with it. Maybe get a little older, a certain amount of wisdom is forced into you.
I don't think age is. I think age can be a part of it, but I don't think age is that, because you have so many people who are old that have never changed, that have never had the self-awareness.
Yeah.
So like I don't think age is a determinant of your ability to understand a different concept of love or hold space for people.
Yeah, because growing old, I'm 80 today, right? Growing old, if you don't die, you're gonna grow old. If you don't die, right? But growing up is another story. Growing up, you have to sign up for it. You have to decide, I want to grow up now. I want to be an adult. What do you mean by adult? How do you grow? I mean, I'm already 8. How do you still grow? You know what I mean? To be mature. And I remember telling your brother this when he went to college. I wrote him a letter and said, to be an adult, you have to be patient, kind, and considerate. Being patient may come to you later on in life and get older, you become patient. And kind, you guys are raised properly where you're kind to people. But being considerate is one of the hardest ones. Being considerate means you have to put yourself in somebody else's space before you start jumping into anything. I mean, like, would you like that done to you and things like that. So that's kind of hard practice. Those 3 things to become an adult: patient, kind, and considerate.
To highlight that, being patient, kind, and considerate as being a mature adult, I want to highlight one of the things that you kind of keep saying, and that's practice. And you say that this is a practice, the practicing kindness, practicing compassion, practicing gratitude, practicing humility, practicing paradox, practicing all these things, practicing giving away, in the paradox, giving away your recovery in order to keep your recovery, It's a practice. It's a practice. It's a practice. It's a practice. And I think that comes back to, you bring up these lessons, and I was saying, the younger version of me is like, oh, like the egos. I already know those lessons. Like, give me more lessons. I want more lessons. Again, going back to just the simplicity, because it's not always about adding more. It's about taking what you have and continuing to practice those things.
Right. Yeah. That's exactly what it is. Yeah. Even people ask me, what do you know, Jess? I don't know much, but what I know, I understand. I don't know much, but what I know, I understand. Because there's no ending to knowing. You can know a lot of things.
There's no ending to knowing, because that's
there's
also
no
a
ending to knowing,
category of more. There's so much stuff. We don't even have the capacity to know all the things ever,
Yeah, but to understand what I know, no matter how little it is, I understand it.
Because
you're doing it. You understand, right? There's a saying like, you see it, you forget, or you remember.
Yeah, I see and I forget. I hear and I remember.
Yeah,
I do and I
understand. Yeah.
I don't know if it's like a Chinese proverb or an Indian proverb, but regardless, again, I've said this before, like regardless of where that source is, if it's a Chinese or if it's Indian, like that statement is the power. Don't mistake the gift wrap for the gift.
Right.
There was something my dad said earlier. He's like, oh, maybe I got that from Dyer, maybe I got that from Millman. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where it comes from. If it can make your life better, if it can change you, like allow yourself to play, experiment, play with different ideas, play with different thoughts. Maybe it works for you, maybe it doesn't. Try that hat on. But it's always a practice.
Yeah, it's a practice.
Everything is a practice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not gonna hurt. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt to practice. I would say, I'm just practicing it. It doesn't hurt. So I remember one time we were talking about understanding. She was telling me what to do, right? And I still did what I did. And she says, I thought you said you understood. I said I understood. That doesn't mean I agree, except I understood. That doesn't mean that I agree. I just understood it, okay? So there's a big difference. There's a big difference, yeah. Those are the little things that I kind of like. My dad always accused me when I was growing up, accused me of being a smart ass. I always have to come back to something stupid, And I'm quick with that. Your mother hates that. She hates that. I'm quick with that. Well, sometimes it's sarcasm, but, I never fake sarcasm, so.
Yeah. It's okay. It's nice watching you and Mom kind of banter.
We're friends. We're good friends.
I know, it's great. No, it's great because
it was never like that.
It wasn't like that before.
No, it wasn't never like. I remember you one time we were arguing and you forced us to hug each other and you said, "No, hug tighter."
How old was I?
I don't know, 15, 14 or 15, something like that. But the first 24 years of our marriage, she was like maybe a hostage. The first 24 years is crazy. And after
Yeah, because you're wilding out.
Oh my God.
Pulling up in front of people, faking
shit.
like you're going to pull out a gun.
You know, and then after that, I got into recovery after 24 years of marriage. Things changed. My thinking changed somewhere to where before when I met you, when I was gonna get married, right? Like, what can I get out of this marriage? I'm gonna have a good life and this, that. When I got into recovery, it's like, what can I bring to the table? What can I bring to the table? So I don't care about, you know, I want to know what can I contribute to this whole thing. That's where it all changes. You know, I mean, opening the door for my wife or being nice to her, and you know, that was new to me. I mean, I'm just like a macho guy. That's it. You know, and so that change right there is like slow but progressive. You know what I mean? I'm still doing that change.
Yeah.
You know, I'm still finding things that I should not be doing. Really.
Because you're always practicing.
Yeah.
And the work's never going to be done. You know? I really love the analogy of being a garden, especially because Mom likes to garden. Yeah. It's like, how long has Mom had the garden? Since you guys have had the house, right? And the garden has changed so much, and it's so gorgeous right now, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's slow changes and this and that, but Mom still goes out in the garden. You know why? Because she's
just like
tending to it.
My favorite 10th and 12th step, like 10 steps, like continue to take personal inventory, and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. That is, to me, it's like, wow, you know. Because I'm gonna do something wrong today for sure because I'm alive. I'm gonna make a mistake just because I'm alive. But you know, to promptly admit to it, to promptly like correct it, it's, you know, it takes a lot of awareness. It takes a lot of, I'm not doing that again. You know what I mean? That's how you live, like that. That's how I live.
That's how you live.
Yeah.
That's how you live.
Yeah.
Dad, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for sharing all of that with me. Thank you for sharing all of that with everybody. He's going to be a return guest because, as you can see, I don't even have to do much talking. It's a wealth of information here. But we are going to get set up. Today is my dad's birthday. We're going to go inside. A lot of people are going to come over.
Yeah, I'm going to go have breakfast. Time. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited today. I don't know how an 80-year-old man feels, but I'm going to feel it today.
You're going to feel it today?
I'm going to feel it today.
Okay, last thoughts before you leave. A quick one. What would you tell people 80 years old? I mean, you've told everybody everything already. Paradox, humor, change, gratitude, humility. How about what you're grateful for? What are you grateful for today? I'm
grateful for, you know, that I don't know how to explain. I could feel the love and respect for my family because my family is my treasure. That is, I'm always grateful every day. I could feel them. I could feel each and every one of them, including little Jesse. You know? I could feel the love and respect to her. Wow, I must have worked for this. I mean, you know, You did. You put in the work. You did the steps. I mean, it's like
12-stepper.
Yeah, 12-stepper. Yeah, that's what I'm grateful for. It's like, you know, being around and look back 80 years. God damn, I went through a lot of shit. And all the good, all the bad, this all treasure. It's all like, it's part of me. All of those things had to happen in order for me to be here and now. All of those had to happen. There's no regrets. Maybe some of that are not worth mentioning. You know what I mean? All of those things had to happen. And I remember you weren't accusing me even from the very first day. My life's like, what's that song, Que sera, sera, whatever will be, will be. But now she knows that, babe, life is like that. Whatever will be, will be. Yeah. Well, that's what life is all about. Whatever will be, will be. Just, it's not, I don't react to things anymore. I respond to it. You know what I mean? It's as simple as that. Life could be simpler than what we make it out of. 100%. 100%. All right, guys. That's it. Episode 1, Season 2. My dad, the wonderful, the legend. Bye. I was a legend in my own mind. Happy birthday, dear Alphonse. Happy birthday to you. Go quick.